the challenge, doesn't it? Because like we've talked about several of the different games on this one game. You've made it, you patented it, you've printed it, you've got all the pieces, it's boxed, it's ready to go. You got to distribute it.
And we've been trying.
This is hard.
Yeah, it is absolutely hard. And even I was having a conversation with my dad, and he was saying, "Yeah, but you don't like the selling part." And it's like, yeah, if I could get one win of a reasonable size, I mean, even the New York game, I pitched it to FAO Schwartz, which apparently has come back now. I'm very excited.
That's what I hear.
Because it disappeared, and then I saw it in some show just recently because they overgrew, and we could talk about the business principles there. But FAO Schwartz, the Dancing on the Piano big movie, FAO Schwartz. And I was there with kids from Hong Kong, and I decided, okay, I'm going to pitch it. And they had this thing where once a week or once a month, they had open pitch. And I showed it to this guy who was there. I happened to be fortunate to be on that day, or maybe I planned that trip. But I showed it to him, and he said, "This is great." He said, "You know what's really great about it? I wrote a guidebook to all the places. I wrote it. I photographed it. All of this media is mine," which really throws people off. Wait, you're a university professor. It's like, yeah, but I make stuff, and I want to make it all myself. And this guy said, "It's fantastic because we've got all these games that name places." I had train stops. I had bus routes. And I showed it to you. I told you the address. Especially now in the days of, with everybody having GPS, all you have to do is punch in the address. You can get there. I mean, nowadays, yeah. So, and he really liked that. But then he says, "But
that's always a but.
I could only take like 10 copies." And I'm like, okay, I'm not sure how to price 10 copies in a way that's affordable for anybody, because printing even at 1,000 copies, it's too much money. You can't bring the price. Everything's about volume. Everything's about scale. Everything's about economies of scale. But I feel good because maybe that door's open again, and maybe they won't do it again. That opportunity is probably once in a lifetime. But he really did legitimately like it, and he's like, "But because it's brand new, et cetera,
there's always
we'd have
excuses.
to test, we'd have to make sure it's going off the shelf." And I'm thinking, so I have to print 1,000 games. I got to underprice it to you so you can price it reasonably to tourists and whoever's coming into FAO. And so you and I get that sentimentality of FAO. I mean, it's like the world's toy store as far as I'm concerned. If I could be in there, that, maybe if I could get 10, but they, whatever, I'll leave that alone. It's a whole bunch of what ifs, but it's just that idea that I can't bear that risk as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
The game and toy business has massive barriers to entry because Hasbro and Mattel control it all, and the Barbie movie's not going to help that any, okay, because it's going to push the brand forward. The fact that they're doing Transformers and all these movies, that they've smartly jumped into that business, that they're constant, people are paying money to watch 1.5 hour commercials.
Yeah. It's crazy.
When I was watching Barbie, I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. Okay, I understand I paid for Oppenheimer. I understand I paid for that. But now I'm paying because of my daughter. We did the Barbieheimer thing. I don't know if you know about that thing among Gen Z. We Barbieheimered in LA.
Okay.
So, very different films, both have their qualities. Obviously Barbie can't touch Oppenheimer, and if you haven't seen it, you should go see it. Anybody who's listening at all, it's unbelievable. Christopher Nolan makes amazing movies too. And it's like I'm watching a commercial and I'm thinking, this is another place where they get recognized more and more and more.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to get into. And the fact is, you've got the retail end. So the thing you're talking about selling it. So we're trying to sell it through social media, et cetera. But once again, the timing's
It's hard.
off.
It's
hard.
And people often say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to put this up on Insta, or I'm going to use Facebook's
Yeah, like it's going to
Marketplace."
magically.
Yeah, it is a hard business,
and it's a slog, and you have to be committed. It's a job.
Yeah,
it's a job. It's actually a lot of what my oldest daughter does in PR in New Jersey for the New Jersey government. I mean, is trying to convince old guys that social is significant, and then they go, yeah, okay, it's significant. You can just do it. And she's like, no, that's not really true. Yeah, it's like, I would be very good at it, but then you also want me doing press relations, and you also want me to write your speeches and to write talking points. It's like, that's a whole bunch of jobs.
Yeah.
And for one person, because even when I first showed this, a couple of my nephews were like, Ross, that's a good idea, man. Let's make a game. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, that sounds nice. The making the game part, because it's like, dude, you got to make something somebody wants to play. And you think this didn't come from my sweat, blood, and tears. It did. But no, so that is the challenge. And